Very good morning to BBSM 3 students. Welcome to the 14th session of Principles of Marketing. Let's energize and start our session with the thought of the day. Take some time to play around with segmentation. If you can pinpoint your best and worst customers, isn't well worth the time. Take some time to play around with segmentation. Just recall students, market segmentation. We have started a new unit in the last few sessions, that is segmenting, targeting and positioning, where we have discussed everything related to the market segmentation, basis of the market segmentation. I have already started, and only the geographic base of the market segmentation I have discussed with you. Now if you recall students, there are 4 bases of the segmentation, fine, but if you look at the thought students, a marketer need to take some time to play around the segmentation. That means they need to wait till they know everything related to the segmentation. They cannot directly select the best segment, because they can pinpoint or they can allow you to differentiate your best and worst customers, because once the study is being taken by the marketer, fine, they can differentiate that which is the best segment for these particular customers. So the customers are segmented well worth with the time in relation to identifying the proper segmentation for them. So selecting the proper segment out of the available one, that is called as exactly a target marketing or a market targeting, one and the same thing. ડિફાઇનિંગ અ ટાર્ગેટ માર્કેટ, કારણ કે જ્યારે કંપની સેગમેન્ટેશન કરે ત્યારે ઘણા બધા સેગમેન્ટ્સ કંપની પાસે આવે, એમાંથી કંપનીએ કોઈ એક બેસ્ટ સેગમેન્ટ સિલેક્ટ કરવાનો છે, બરાબર. સો દે કેન સિલેક્ટેડ ઇન રિલેશન ટુ જસ્ટ નોઈંગ, પ્લેઇંગ અરાઉન્ડ ધ સેગમેન્ટેશન, એન્ડ કંપની કેન ડિફરન્શિએટ બેસ્ટ એન્ડ વર્સ્ટ કસ્ટમર્સ well worth within the time, so that the company can select a right segment, right products for the right audience, and then they can achieve the goal. Now students, in this session the topics that I am going to discuss you are seeing on the screen. We'll discuss 2 bases of the market segmentation, demographic and psychographic. So I'll be covering the 2 bases of the market segmentation. Just recall with the starting related to the introduction of the market segmentation, that what is called as basis, fine. ફરી વાર કહી દો સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ, basis that refer to different criteria, standards, variables, factors or conditions or different aspects that used to divide or segment the market. So bases are used to distinguish the group from the masses, fine, which will imply some definite criteria which is required, some characteristics, standards is required to divide the heterogeneous market into homogeneous segments. So bases are nothing but a standards. કંઈક ડિફરન્શિએટ કરવા માટે સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ, વેરિયેબલ, ફેક્ટર, કન્ડિશન તો જોઈએ જ, બરાબર. So bases are these conditions or criteria through which the company can segment the market. Now I have already done, but still I am recalling you students, there are mainly 2 bases, basis for consumer market and basis for industrial market. In the last session I have started market segmentation basis for consumer market. હજી industrial market ના basis આપણે discuss કર્યા નથી, શરૂ કર્યા નથી students. I have only covered and started basis of market segmentation for consumer market. If you look at the consumer market basis students, this is only for consumer products, which is for the final consumption. એના ઉપર કોઈ પણ જાતનું further processes થતું નથી. So it is not as an input for producing the other products, the product which is there for the final consumption for the consumers, which are called as consumer products. If you look at the consumer product or a consumer market basis, they are categorized into 2 main categories. consumer characteristics or a people oriented approach, which will be having a three bases: geographic, demographic, psychographic. If you look at the product characteristics approach or a consumer response approach, which is called as a behavioral segmentation or a behavioral basis. Now geographic basis I already delivered in my last session. Today I will deliver demographic and psychographic basis. Fine. Still behavioral basis I will be discussing in the next upcoming session. Fine. So there are four main bases of the segmentation for just dividing consumer market: geographic area wise, demographic population wise, psychographic psychology wise, and a behavioral consumer response wise, how consumer behaving according to the different product. So demographic segmentation, what do you mean by demographic segmentation, students? The term demographic that refers to aspects relating to population, because demographic, which is dividing market on the base of population characteristics. Now these base is most popular and widely used for the segmentation. Majority of the companies, maximum whole market generally divided on the basis of demographic variables. Fine. What are these variables? Such as age, gender, family income, occupation, etc. So needs and wants and preferences in the usage rate are highly associated with demographic variables. કોઈ પણ consumers હોય, customers હોય, એની જરૂરિયાતો, એની ઈચ્છા, needs and wants and a preference, બરાબર, અથવા એનો વપરાશ, usage rate, that is highly associated with demographic variables. જેમ કે see students, if you segment the market in relation to age wise, બરાબર, બાળકોની જરૂરિયાતો સાવ 5 વર્ષના 10 યર્સથી નીચેના બાળકો હોય તો એની જરૂરિયાતો એ એડલ્ટ 18 વર્ષ સુધીના બાળકોની જરૂરિયાતો કરતાં જુદી હોય. યંગ જનરેશન 18+ એની જરૂરિયાતો અલગ હોય. મિડલ એજ કસ્ટમર્સ એની જરૂરિયાતો અલગ હોય. ઓલ્ડ એજ કસ્ટમર્સ એની જરૂરિયાતો અલગ હોય. સો એજ વાઇઝ પ્રેફરન્સીસ, નીડ્સ અને વોન્ટ્સ ચેન્જ થતા રહે. જેન્ડર વાઇઝ તો થાય જ, ક્લોધિંગ ફોર મેલ એન્ડ ફિમેલ અલગ જ હોય. Fine. So usage rate, preferences, wants and needs, which are highly associated with the demographic variables, and that's why it is a widely used base for segmenting consumer market. One of the main advantages of demographic segmentation is that information you need is readily available for you. કારણ કે સ્ટેટિસ્ટિક્સ હોય જ કંપની પાસે. ડેમોગ્રાફિક પોપ્યુલેશન જ્યારે સેન્સસ થાય, વસ્તી ગણતરી થાય, ત્યારે આ સ્ટેટિસ્ટિક્સ કંપની પાસે હોય જ, બરાબર. કંપની only need to take it as a base, so it is readily available. One can pull census data to determine who, where and how you want the market of your products. For example, automobile industries can market their cars to different age groups, income levels and genders. બરાબર. આપણને ખબર જ છે કે vehicles સ્પેસિફિકલી મેલ અને ફિમેલ માટે અલગ આવે, અલગ અલગ ઇન્કમ ગ્રુપ માટે કાર અલગ અલગ હોય, એ અલગ અલગ એજ ગ્રુપ માટે પણ અલગ અલગ vehicles અને automobile products હોય. Fine. So there are certain common products that will be segmented keeping these particular base in mind. Fine. If you look at the demographic segmentation, it will be done rather by first one, that is by age of the people from childhood to teenage, young age, adult age, middle age and old age, gender, male and female, occupation, doctor, professor, businessman, service class, etc. Education level. Fine. Literate, illiterate, even literate also, undergraduate, 10+2, schooling, then graduation, post graduation. Like that is income wise, lower income group, middle income group, upper income group. Fine. According to ethnicity, that how they are ethnic, that means they are modern or ethnic. According to family size, family with no children, family with one children, family with two children, family with more than two children. Religion wise, the religion that they follow. Fine. Hindu, Christianity, Baniya, like that, religion wise. or racial groups. There are different, even in different religion also there are different racial groups. Fine. You can also find different racial groups in our Hindu religion, and so many racial groups. Fine. So these are common demographic segmentation criterion. Now students, the most common that will be used by majority of the companies, where you will find on screen the pictures where age and life cycle from children to old age, lifestyle basis. Fine. Life stages from children up to the old age are different according to the profession, according to the education. Gender is the most common bifurcation, or you can say categories of the market segmentation, male and female. Another most common is income wise groups. Depending on the occupation the customer have, accordingly there will be the income wise segmentation. Generation wise, because in relation to the generation there will be the change in a standard of living, so it is a generation wise. And if you look at the community, ethnicity and religion, there will be the social class is a common kind of the segmentation. So these are the demographics basis for the segmentation. Now we'll discuss one by one these all bases. The first one, which is age. Consumers of different age groups differ in terms of needs, quality, interest, habits. Individual changes his needs and preferences and habits as he grows from childhood to adulthood based on the age criteria. The marketer classifies the market in different segments. Say for example, students please note it down, what are the classification. First one, infants, newborn babies, children up to 12 years, teenage 12 plus years, youngs 12 to 18 years, adults 18 years plus. Fine. And olds, that is more than 50 years of age. Majority of the products like chocolates, clothing, cycle, motorcycles, films, books, magazines, food, medicines, clubs specifically have age based segmentation. આપણને ખબર જ છે સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ કે બાળકોની બુક્સ અને મેગેઝિન્સ અલગ હોય, એડલ્ટની અલગ હોય, ઓલ્ડ એજ અલગ હોય. ફિલ્મ્સ પણ અલગ અલગ રીતે બાયફોગેટ થાય. ચોકલેટ્સ તો હોય જ, ક્લોધિંગ તો નેચરલી કારણ કે એજ પ્રમાણે that will have a change in the body type and a gestures and a structures, so it will be having a different kind of the clothing according to the age. Fine. So these are the common products which will generally have a age based segmentation. Second most common is a gender. Fine. Gender refers to male or female. This base is used for the products like clothing, the clothing of male and female, cosmetics of male and female, magazines specifically, cigarettes, two-wheelers, ornaments, jewelries, garments, watches. All are these products which will have a gender wise segmentation. Male and female consumers differ significantly in terms of needs, attitudes, preference and overall response to the product. So these base exactly sometimes cannot strictly be applied, but there are products which will be used by both male and female, but there are majority of the products which will have a age gender based segmentation. The next third segmentation is the size of family. Market can be segmented in terms of size of family. Why? Because need, size, quantity, rather why quantity? કારણ કે જેમ ફેમિલી મોટું એટલી પ્રોડક્ટની ક્વોન્ટિટી વધારે જોઈએ. પ્રોડક્ટ પરચેસ કરવાની ફ્રીક્વન્સી વધી જાય કારણ કે કન્ઝમ્પશન વધી જાય. બરાબર. મોટું ફેમિલી હોય તો મોટું પેક જોઈએ, પેકિંગ મોટું જોઈએ, ક્વોલિટી એ પ્રમાણે જોઈએ. સાઇઝ પ્રોડક્ટની અને જરૂરિયાતો પણ પ્રોડક્ટની વધારે જોઈએ. સો અકોર્ડિંગ ટુ ધ સાઇઝ ઓફ ફેમિલી સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ, ફાઇન, ધ segmentation will be done. Fine. For the products specifically, the number of members in the family is like a family which is a joint family which is a larger one. If the number of family members are more, they require a more consumption of the products. In case of refrigerator, બરાબર, અલગ અલગ મોડલ્સ કેમ રેફ્રિજરેટર બહુ મોટા સાઇઝનું આવે કારણ કે બહુ મોટી ફેમિલી હોય તો એ લોકોને વધારે જગ્યા જોતી હોય. ટૂથપેસ્ટ મોટું પેક આવે, નાનું પેક આવે. કાર ડિટર્જન્ટ પાવડર્સ, ફર્નિચર, ફ્લેટ, આઈસ્ક્રીમ પેક, આવી ઘણી બધી એવી પ્રોડક્ટ્સ છે કે જે સાઇઝ ઓફ ફેમિલી પ્રમાણે બહુ નાનું પેક પણ આવે, ફેમિલી પેકેય આવે અને મોટું પેક પણ આવે, બીકોઝ larger family with more members required more consumption of the products. The next fourth category is a family life cycle. If you look at family life cycle, market can be segmented into several segments like single, that is single, newly married couple, family with one children. See students, the size of family in a family life cycle having a variation, whereas size of family is considered in terms of number of family members, whereas family life cycle are different stages of a particular person life cycle, that is newly married couple, single, family with one children, family with two children, family with more than two children, or a family with aged parents. Fine. So at different stage of a family life cycle, type, quantity, size, preference of the product are subject to vary. When you look at a newly married couple and you look at the family with one children, that having a variation in terms of need, barabar, variation in terms of need, quantity and type of the products, and preferences also that keeps on changing. So this is also one of the segment to be considered by a marketer while segmenting the market. The fifth one, which is a income, which is a powerful determinant of needs and wants. It affects quantity, size, quality, novelty and a style of the products. આપણને ખબર જ છે કે હાયર ઇન્કમ ગ્રુપ છે એની કેપેસિટી છે સ્પેન્ડ કરવાની, તો એવી ક્વોલિટી પરચેઝ કરે, નોવેલ્ટી સ્ટાઇલ પ્રોડક્ટ્સની પ્રેફરન્સ કરે, વધારે સાઇઝમાં લઈ શકે, પ્રોડક્ટની વધારે ક્વોન્ટિટી લઈ શકે, whereas the low income group cannot prefer this. Companies dealing with automobiles, clothing, cosmetics, furniture, travels, footwear, electronics, clubs, hospitals, restaurants and hotels. આ બધી જ કંપની, તમે હોટલમાં બજેટ રૂમ પણ મળે, હોટલમાં પ્રીમિયમ ડિલક્સ રૂમય મળે, બરાબર. Why? Because ultimately according to the income of the particular person, they prefer to use different products. Fine. It is quite obvious that if you look at the income group, barabar, the market which is so divided on the basis of the poor, middle class, rich class and high rich, એટલે elite income group, barabar. Poor class have a different needs and wants, medium class have a different needs and wants according to their income capacity, rich class and elite class. If you look at the Maruti company selling the different models of the car starting from 3.5 lakhs Wagoner up to the Swift and Verna, depending on the income group of the people, બરાબર. 30, 35, 40 લાખની કારે મળે, 50 લાખની મળે અને સાવ 3 લાખની 5 લાખની કાર મળે, depending on the income of the family, બરાબર, and plus size of the family, they'll purchase the car. Fine. Next will be education. Education makes a difference. The market which is so divided in terms of level of education also, such as illiterate, semi-educated, educated. Fine. If you look at illiterate, they don't know read and write, they cannot read and write. If it is semi-educated, they read and write but cannot having a capacity, they have a limited capacity, લખી વાંચી શકે છે પણ સમજી શકતા નથી. જ્યારે એજ્યુકેશન એટલે મોર દેન મેટ્રિક્યુલેશન, 10+2, અંડર ગ્રેજ્યુએટ, ગ્રેજ્યુએટ, પોસ્ટ ગ્રેજ્યુએટ, એટલે જ્યારે એજ્યુકેશન આવે તો એજ્યુકેશનમાં પણ આટલા બધા બાયફર્ગેશન થાય, બરાબર. જેમ કે બુક્સ છે, મેગેઝિન્સ છે, ન્યૂઝપેપર્સ છે, મૂવી છે, ટીવી સિરિયલ્સ છે, બરાબર. સ્કૂલ, કોલેજીસ અને એજ્યુકેશનલ ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યુશન મોટા ભાગે આવા ટાઈપનું બાયફર્ગેશન આવે. તમને સ્કૂલ્સ એવી જોવા મળે કે જે માત્ર ખાલી પ્રાઇમરી હોય, સ્કૂલ એવી જોવા મળે જેમાં પ્રાઇમરી હાયર સેકન્ડરી બંને હોય, જ્યારે કોલેજ ઇટ ઇઝ 10+2. ફાઇન. સો મોટા ભાગે એજ્યુકેશન ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યુશન છે, ટીવી સિરિયલ્સ છે, બરાબર. બુક્સ તો હોય જ બાયફર્ગેશન, એજ્યુકેશનના આધારે મૂવીઝ પણ હોય, બરાબર, ન્યૂઝપેપર્સ હોય, મેગેઝિન્સ હોય. સો ધીસ કાઇન્ડ ઓફ ધ પ્રોડક્ટ્સ વિચ will have education as a segmentation. Next will be caste and social class. Sometimes market segmentation take place as per caste and social class, Why? Because caste and social class are based on the social system plus income. કારણ કે આપણે અહીંયા ઇન્ડિયામાં સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ ઓક્યુપેશન વાઇઝ ઓક્યુપેશન એ કાસ્ટ ઉપર આધાર રાખે છે. સો વી હેવ અ ઓક્યુપેશન વાઇઝ સેગમેન્ટેશન ઇન રિલેશન ટુ ધ કાસ્ટ એન્ડ સોશિયલ ક્લાસ. બરાબર, એટલે જ્યારે આપણે સોશિયલ ક્લાસની વાત કરીએ ત્યારે બે વસ્તુ ખાસ જોવાય. પહેલું તો કે આપણી સોશિયલ સિસ્ટમ શું છે, બરાબર, અને બીજું આપણી ઇન્કમ શું છે. બરાબર, બંનેનું કોમ્બિનેશન છે વિચ વિલ બી બેઝડ ઇન રિલેશન ટુ ગ્રુપ. બરાબર, સો વેર વી હેવ three groups: lower class, middle class and higher class. બરાબર, and if you look at Indian societies which will follow which will have a number of caste and classes. આપણે કાસ્ટ છે ને કાસ્ટની સબકાસ્ટ છે જેમાં ઘણા બધા સોશિયલ ક્લાસ છે, અને કાસ્ટ વાઇઝ સોશિયલ ક્લાસ વાઇઝ લેઝર એ લીગલ એક્ટિવિટી, આપણા ધંધાઓ, ઓક્યુપેશન, કલર પ્રેફરન્સીસ, આપણી હેબિટ્સ, આપણો ટ્રેડિશન, કસ્ટમ્સ, રિચ્યુઅલ અલગ છે. કારણ કે ફેસ્ટિવલ જૈના અલગ હોય, બરાબર, બ્રાહ્મીણ, બનિયા, લોહાના, we have a different caste and according to the caste there are different occupation that is to be done. અને ઓક્યુપેશન જે પ્રમાણે ધંધાઓ છે એ પ્રમાણે પાછી ઇન્કમ ગ્રુપ હોય. બરાબર, so these three are in relation, that is caste, social class, income and occupation. So there are products which will be considered in terms of આપણે કેમ વેજ નોન વેજ પ્રોડક્ટ્સ આવે છે because that consideration caste and social class. અમુક ફેસ્ટિવલ્સ ઉપર અમુક પ્રોડક્ટ મળે છે because there are certain festivals which will be celebrated in certain caste and a social class. Fine. Next will be profession or occupation. On the basis of profession or occupation, students, the market which will be divided as businessmen, service class, farmers, laborers and professionals. આપણને બધાને ખબર છે સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ કે ઓક્યુપેશન અને પ્રોફેશન વાઇઝ કસ્ટમર્સ ડિમાન્ડ્સ અને વોન્ટ્સ ચેન્જ થતી હોય છે. લાઇક લોયર્સ હેવ ડિફરન્ટ ડિમાન્ડ્સ, doctors, chartered accountants have a different needs and wants. So needs and wants which will be varying according to the different profession and occupation. So marketers also divide the market or a segment the market considering the profession or occupations. બરાબર, consumer who belong to different occupations differ in terms of need and preferences because they live different lifestyle. ડૉક્ટર જે લાઇફસ્ટાઇલ લીવ કરતા હોય એના કરતાં લોયરની જુદી હોય, એના કરતાં પ્રોફેસર્સની જુદી હોય, એના કરતાં એક્ટર એક્ટ્રેસીસની જુદી હોય, ચાર્ટર અકાઉન્ટન્ટ્સની અલગ હોય. તો જે પ્રમાણે ઓક્યુપેશન છે, જે પ્રમાણે પ્રોફેશન છે, અકોર્ડિંગલી their needs and wants, lifestyle, status and income are different. So they also refer and follow and purchase different products. So this segmentation is relevant to the products like two-wheelers, car, club membership, travel, furniture, magazines and electronic appliances તો હોય જ, that will be having a different bifurcations on the terms of occupation. Fine. Now the next will be religion. We all know that students when you talk about a secularism that will be followed in India, barabar, on the base of the religion we have a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jew, fanatic, different kind of the religion that will be followed. In each religion there can be more sub religion will be bifurcated. So needs and wants of the customers, habits and preference of the customers is different in terms of the different religion they follow. How the consumers are bifurcated? They bifurcated on the base of the food they eat, clothing they wear, rituals they follow, reading materials they read, festivals they celebrate. Fine. So different religion have differentiation in terms of these all parameters. So producer always keep in mind different religions and accordingly they segment the market. બરાબર, we have a Raksha Bandhan pack of dairy milk students. We have a different vegetarian, non-vegetarian products. On some festivals different products are available because depending on them the religion the marketers keep in mind when they segment the market, because different religions have different rituals, have a color combination, have different tradition. They also refer to read different reading materials. They also have a different kind of the clothing. So garment industry generally consider this as a segmentation in relation to religion they follow. Next and the last one which is nationality. Once you talk about nationality students, different nationality, because as one nationality, it depends on the countries. The companies who are selling their products in international market, they need to also refer these particular segmentation, because consumers of various countries are differ in terms of habit, preference, food, clothing, festival, religion, education, income, custom, belief and tradition. Different country customers have a different lifestyle, they live different lifestyle, they have a different background, so how come they have a common needs and wants? Always they need a different product with a different style, price, quality and a taste. If you look at nationality students, Indians, American, Chinese, Japanese, Africans have a varied needs and preferences. So once you are selling your product at international level, you need to also segment the market in terms of the nationality. Indians have a different needs and wants, Americans have a different needs and wants, Africans, Australians, or you can say different country customers have a different needs and wants, because they have a different food habit, they have a clothing pattern, they have a different lifestyle, they have a different types of occupation, they have a different income too. So because of the cultural differences, the company need to consider first nationality. Specifically for international market, company needs to consider nationality first, that which type of countries customers they are selling the product to. That's it for the basis of market segmentation for geographical base. Now next we'll discuss afterwards.